Okay, so what you're going to do here is we're going to mark dissolution of marriage. This is a judgment for dissolution. You're going to have, in our cases, we're handling uncontested amicable divorce cases. So you're either going to have a default or uncontested, and this would be default with agreement or true default. That would apply in any case here. The next important box to check is respondent was served with process as far as the court acquired jurisdiction of the respondent on. And you're going to enter the date here. Now, this can be the date they signed the notice of acknowledgement. This can be the date that they were served by personal service. And the other alternative is if the respondent filed a response instead of being served, the other thing you can do is mark the respondent appeared. That's what it means to respond. The respondent appeared, and then you'll enter the date that occurred on, that the date the response was filed. Then you're going to mark box 4A, the court order's good cause appearing, and you're going to mark on specific date. You're going to leave this box blank. Do not fill this in. It'll cause your judgment to be rejected. The court will actually fill this in, and the date they're going to enter is going to be the date of the soonest of the 6 months and plus 1 day of the date of service, or if it's been beyond the 6 months, it'll be the date that they actually process your divorce. None of this is ever required. We never needing to complete any of this. If there are minor children and there's a child support order, you're going to mark this box here. All right, let's go to page 2. As far as this information here being, last name, first name, we're just entering, one of the parties' names in here. It's never been an issue. So in this case, who we have Jane Smith. So you can just do Jane Smith. This is really not an issue, but you just want to have one of the party names on here. If there are minor children, you're going to want to indicate that here, put their names, and you're going to want to list their names exactly how you did on the petition. So just make sure that matches up, and then date of birth. One important thing with the judgment is if you've had children born prior to the marriage, you may have noticed on the petition when you filed that they asked you to attach the parentage or declaration of parentage. If you didn't do it then, you definitely need to do it now, and you'll say, we're going to mark this box since it says parentage is established for children of this relationship. And then on one of the other forms, I'll show you where you attach that parentage form if you did not do that in the judgment, in the petition. Now, if you're just joining us, if you do have questions about how to complete your judgment, we have a couple of people on here. Feel free to ask in the comments or the chat, and I'll get to them at the end of the show when we've gone over all the forms for the judgment. Okay, if there are children involved, you're going to have to mark the child custody box. And we always recommend that you simply use the attachments that the courts give you. So in this case, the FL-341, and that'll be another form that we will be going over. If there are children, you obviously have to address the child support. What a lot of people make mistakes on is if there is, maybe they don't want to have child support in their divorce case, they're thinking, well, I just don't attach this. You need to have a child support order, even to say there is no child support. And I want to make a comment about this settlement agreement, stipulation for judgment or other written agreement that you see as the first box in most of these. At the end of this, I'm going to show you how, if there's additional information you need to include that it does not have room in some of the forms, I'm going to show you the marital settlement agreement format you can use, and or just to have a place to sign. One of the biggest issues clients, not our clients, but people that are trying to get through divorce, they say, Tim, where do we sign? There's, we have this agreement using the forms, but there's nowhere to sign. So it can be a problem, and I'll show you how to fix that. Spousal support order. Another mistake people make is they say we're not having spousal support, so they don't attach anything. You still need to have the order. And so you're going to, again, we're saying use the form FL-343, and the order does need to be attached to this. This 180 is kind of like your face sheet. And so you will have in all cases, you're going to have to attach this form. And you're also going to indicate up here, what is the plan? Are you guys reserving jurisdiction and not, so that means you're not going to have spouse support now, but maybe in the future? Are you terminating spouse support to both parties? So you're going to want to mark at least number 1 and number 3, or number 2, and number 3. as far as having spouse support. You're going to have this in all cases. And then you're always going to have a property division order. And again, it's just easiest, especially if the property is minimal, you can fit that right into the spaces they give you on this 345. So at a minimum, if there's no children, you just are going to have the spousal order and the property order. I want to make that clear. When you're done with all the forms, you're going to count them up, and all of them beyond this page 2 of the 180, that is where you're going to enter how many pages you're here. And that's how you complete the 180.